Morton's, Ford's, Russell's Engineering, and Webster Engineering in Geelong. Jean worked at a number of weaving mills, including the Valley Mill, along with a number of other places, while trying to raise 3 children. And this was all happening while they were actually building a house in Geelong. They moved to Tweed Heads and then on to Evans Heads in 1976, where David became a pro fisherman with his son Stephen. Raise your hand, Stephen. So he became a pro fisherman with his son Stephen for a period of time. While all this was happening, they purchased land in Pimlico. All these names are so unfamiliar to me. I apologize. I practiced them at home even and still messing up. It's all good. Where Dad started building yet another home. He's a daring man, I would say. David and Jean had 3 children, Neil, Stephen, and Wayne, who partners are Kim, Janelle, and Lee. They had 5 grandchildren, Chase, Todd, Lucas, Simon, Ryan, and also were great-grandparents to Edison, Charlotte, Elliot, and Finn. My memories of Mom and Dad, Wayne. Rather than duplicating memories, my brothers will probably cover some of my memories through the early days as children. If someone were to ask me how to describe my parents, I would have to say they were soulmates who became loving, lifelong partners with a marriage that stood the test of time for over 74 years. When I now look back as to the way we were brought up, I believe that Mom and Dad raised us as they would have done if we were born in their era, in the same way that they were raised. They encouraged us to grow and mature to adults, knowing they had given us the tools necessary to live a loving, honest, and fulfilled life. We were always taught from a very young age that it was necessary to work hard and treat others as you would like to be treated. That is something that I saw in both my parents. One of those examples was seeing how they both worked so hard, especially Dad. Always worked hard building their first and then their second house over an extended period of years. He would work all day and then work most of his free time to improve our living conditions at home. Some of the many things that Dad passed on to me, other than his work ethic, was how to appreciate the sea and how to skin dive. He actually saved me from drowning while I was diving when I was very young. Along with this, he also taught me how to tinker and fix most mechanical things, like repairing motorbikes and motor cars. Having spoken about Dad, it wasn't easy for Mom either. She was the other half of the hard-working partnership, going out and working at a number of weaving mills all day and coming home to run the household and raise 3 mischievous young boys who she loved dearly. That's Steve, she said. I could probably rattle on and on about a lot of good memories for me about both Mom and Dad. However, I have to say the one overwhelming thought I have when I think about Mom and Dad is that they both instilled the most important things in both myself and my brothers. That was the building blocks of life. How to become a good, loving human being. Their legacy is that, hopefully, I have passed on those same very important qualities to my children. So that was Wayne's thoughts. Very, very touching. I'm going to move on to Stephen now. For Mom and Dad, the family unit was paramount. We had little material things like toys, possessions, etc. But they were replaced with family time. Homemade billy carts, school lunchtime swims, after-school beach trips, weekend barbecues, either at the beach or at the You Yangs Victoria. Lots of skin diving, surfing and swimming were some of my happy memories from our childhood. Holidays away each year, always somewhere different and adventurous, were also a part of a happy childhood. I had an opportunity to spend more time with Mum and Dad after they sold their house in Victoria and moved to New South Wales. Dad and I decided to go into a fishing business in both Tweed Heads and finally Evans Head. Dad and I built a boat trailer together for our shark cat. We had some memorable times fishing and some great catches. They were great times working one-on-one together. Some of Mum and Dad's fondest memories were spent at Silver Sands Caravan Park in Evans Head. Our move to Evans Head allowed me to meet my life's partner in Janelle and raise two fine young men in Chase and Todd. So that's Stephen's memories. I'm gonna move on to Neil's. Sitting here on my front porch trying to put my thoughts together on what Mum and Dad meant to me and thinking of all the highlights is very hard. Stephen and Wayne have put their thoughts down on paper, and I'm sure they've covered many of the memories I would also express. My memories of Mum and Dad being very kind and generous, giving their time and knowledge, not only to our family, but to all our friends. Everyone was welcome at the dinner table. Mom would make do. After losing her own father at an early age, Mum grew up with such hardship and vowed we would all be self-sufficient men. At an early age, she ensured we knew how to cook, keep house, and sew a button on a shirt. Mum herself was a talented seamstress who made all our clothes and took pride in the way we looked. I was dismayed when she insisted we all learn ballroom dancing. But I look back now with gratitude for the life skill dancing has given me in future years. I have fond memories of there always being music played in the house on a gramophone. All the big band stuff like Glenn Miller and Tommy Dorsey. My love for music comes from her, which I carry through to this day. My house is always filled with music. Much louder though, I will admit. Whatever we took an interest in, both our parents were right behind us 100%. My memories of Dad are his different discipline styles and teaching techniques. You would soon know if you ever stepped out of line and he found out about it. I like how you added that in. Not in an aggressive way, but more a velvet hand. Dad was always there with practical advice, but he would not interfere. He would make you try your best and then come in to help when you couldn't figure it out. I owe most of my hands-on skill to his teaching style. It was not always about work. We had fun times learning how to swim in the rock pools at Barwon Heads, and then later skin dive, which created within me a deep love and respect for the ocean. My greatest gift was when he introduced me to surfing at 10 years of age. Something I still do, or at least try, some 63 years later. What a trip it has been. The places I have served and the lifelong friendships I've made are priceless to me now. Growing up, Dad was not a demonstrative man. It was not until later years that he became a hugger and someone who would frequently tell you that he loved you. Above all, Dad was a true gentleman. He was always a gentle man. Having their memorial service together is very fitting for a couple who were always together. I often would call it the love story of a century. They were truly in love from the day they met to the day they parted. They were totally dedicated to each other, in sickness and in health. Their devotion is an inspiration for the longevity of love. Even more fitting today is that tomorrow, the 3rd of July, would have been their 76th wedding anniversary. My heartfelt wish and hope is that they are both together now. Now that's all the memories